Hello, and welcome to the Get Lean and Eat Clean podcast. My name is Brian Grin. I'm a certified health coach, trainer, and author. And this podcast is for middle-aged men and women looking to optimize their health and get their bodies back to what it once was 10 to 15 years ago. I will give you simple, actionable items to get long-term sustainable results. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. All right, welcome to the Get Lean, Eat Clean podcast. My name is Brian Grin, and today we're going to talk about how critical protein is and what type of protein should you eat. Protein is this macronutrient that continually gets brought up from pretty much every guest I bring on, and I just want to talk about, animal versus plant, and a lot of my inspiration came from Marty Kendall and his work, and I interviewed him most recently. So essentially, I'll say this right off the bat that quality meat and seafood contains more protein per calorie and per gram, especially when you consider the bioavailability of these foods compared to anything else out there. So you definitely get your most bang for your buck from good quality meat and seafood. And so it makes sense to base your meals around those. Now, I'll tell you, there's a lot of different camps out there. I used to be vegetarian and pescatarian, which would be just fish and veggies. And now I've gone to more meat-based. If you listen to my last podcast, my micro podcast about how my body fat percentage went down and my muscle went up, I'll talk a little bit about my change into more of a meat-based protein. Now, an animal-based protein. Now, I will say that I only try to find meats that are from either local farms or from places that raise their animals humanely, and it's grass-fed, grass-finished. So I'm not buying this from just industrial feedlots, which I wouldn't promote either way. So definitely the source of the protein is important. Wild fish is if you can get it most of the time would be a great way to go as well. So I've been in both camps. I'll leave the decision up to you. And I'm just going to touch first on plant protein and what might be the issue regarding plant protein if that's the only thing that you're consuming. And the biggest thing is getting the right amount of protein to promote satiety, to build muscle, or avoid sarcopenia on a plant-based diet without necessarily supplementing with protein powders, processed protein powders, which is all these are. So that's one of the main issues with just being on a plant-based diet is getting enough protein without having to supplement with processed protein powders. If that's the route you want to go, more power to you. If you are also exclusively just plant-based, it's also harder to absorb the protein that you require without consuming like excess amounts of protein. I found this example thanks out to Marty Kendall, and he mentioned broccoli versus cod. Okay, so broccoli, think about it this way. How many pounds of broccoli do you think you would need to eat to get 2,000 calories to fuel your day? Well, 13 pounds you would need to consume of broccoli to get enough protein to fuel yourself throughout the day. Now, if you can't imagine yourself consuming that much, which I could not, take a look at cod. 1.3 pounds of cod, which is 630 calories, gets you the same amount of protein as the 13 pounds of broccoli. So that's just one example. But I think if you just focus on leaner, more bioavailable protein sources, it'll give you a much better chance of building and maintaining muscle mass, which is the goal I would imagine for most people. Now, there can be some advantages and benefits to consuming maybe some nutrient-dense plant foods, but if you rely on them as your primary source of protein, this could be problematic because you would need to consume so much of it or supplement in some way to get that amount, to get the right amount of protein. I sort of found this when I was mainly plants and some fish, is I just felt like I wasn't getting enough protein, especially for how active I was. Another thing that plays a big role, animal versus plant, is what's called the amino acid profile. Now, what are amino acids? Well, they play a key role in pretty much every system throughout your body. The main thing is assisting in the creation and growth of muscle and connective tissue and skin. They also assist in maintaining muscle tone and tissue strength. So also involved in healing and repair. So amino acids are very critical. And I'll just mention one. Lysine is an essential, it is an amino acid that is plentiful in fish like halibut, haddock, shrimp, and meat, beef, chicken, turkey. It's an essential building block for all other proteins in your body and plays a significant role in calcium absorption. So you want to make sure you're getting lysine, which is an amino acid that's mainly in fish and meat, also in eggs. It's critical for muscle growth, and it also is used to form carnitine, which helps you use your fats for energy. So very important. People who have don't get enough lysine, there's been some links associated with anemia, fatigue, poor concentration, tiredness, and even some infertility. So I just wanted to bring up that one amino acid and where you can get that. I mean, we can go through each of them, but it'll be a long, long podcast. But the bottom line is amino acids come plentiful in fish and meat for the most part, and eggs is a great source as well. So proteins from animal sources, like I mentioned, eggs, raw milk, if you can get it, meat, fish, and poultry provide the highest quality rating of food sources. And this is primarily due to the completeness of the proteins that you're getting, like I mentioned with the whole amino acid profiles. So that's the main thing I wanted to touch on here. I'm not going to go back and forth too much. The bottom line is that in order to create satiety, you want to increase your protein intake, and also with some good quality fats as well. So without supplementation, you'll need to consume a lot of energy, a lot more energy to get protein if you only thrive on a plant-based diet. Okay, so I'll let you make the decision, plant versus animal. My dog's getting out of control. I have a new semi-new 2-year-old who's getting into my recipe book. But the bottom line is the bioavailability of plants versus animals is a big difference. And if you focus on quality animal proteins, that bioavailability shoots up the roof, and it's going to really help you build muscle, stay lean, and especially if you live an active lifestyle. So all proteins are not created equal, and I hope you got a sort of an idea from this. If you have any questions, feel free to comment if you're listening on YouTube, or I'm also obviously on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, all the big distribution channels. And thanks a lot for listening. I hope you have a great day and Happy New Year. It's January 1st here, 2021, and looking forward to a great year. And hopefully I can help you reach your goals, your health goals, with my podcast, my challenges, and everything else that's coming out for 2021. So thanks so much and enjoy your day. Thanks for listening to the Get Lean, Eat Clean podcast. I understand there are millions of other podcasts out there, and you've chosen to listen to mine, and I appreciate that. Check out the show notes at briangrin.com for everything that was mentioned in this episode. Feel free to subscribe to the podcast and share it with a friend or family member that's looking to get their body back to what it once was. Thanks again, and have a great day.